So let's set up a canning session as a beginner so that we can make this easier and to get organized for those who are new to canning and who feel a bit overwhelmed getting started. So the first thing I do is bring out my canner. In my case, it's the smaller Presto. I have got the pot ready where my lids will go. I've got the correct amount of water in my canner. The Presto has a line inside of it to make it idiot-proof. And I do a little squirt of vinegar in mine because I'm on well water to keep my jars from feeling calcium-y, for lack of a better word, or any type of hard water on them. My lid to my canner is ready. I turned it over. I make sure that that seal, the black gasket I call it on the inside, is secure and it moves freely in there. I make sure that my vent pipe is clear. I make sure this is 2 pieces. This is not upside down. They experimented for 2 years with different vent locks. I call it a petcock, but it's not. But that is what comes up. And then you begin generally your 10 minutes of a steady stream. You have your little piece back here, which is your overpressure plug in the unlikely event that your pressure in your canner got too high, that would blow out. You can no longer blow up a pressure canner like back in our mom and grandma's days. So that is the first things I do to get set up for a canning session. I also get my stovetop very clean. That is because the heat that builds up under this canner will, whatever is on your stovetop, if you have any stains or some stuck carrots, it's going to bake them onto that, and it makes it very hard to clean up. So I start with a very clean stovetop so that generally I don't have any cleanup on the stovetop after a canning session. In my case, I will be raw packing chicken. So I have got my funnel, my magic wand to take out those lids from that warm pot of water, and I've got my beloved Pokey Joe. This is for measuring headspace. When you debubble, or Pokey Joe, as I call it, this is the end that you use. This is to measure your headspace. It has increments of measurement on there, and again, I like anything idiot-proof. Keep it simple, silly. Next thing I do is I set up where I'm going to put my process jars. Vern makes me these trivets. With cork in a little frame. They're ideal for canning and for many other things, and I hang them on my wall in my pantry. This back one is simply a large chopping block. I put a towel on it and more wax paper because some things, the jars will get sticky. If I'm doing a soup or tomato soup, if there's any siphoning, I just don't want a stained canning towel, so it's what I do. It's all I do. This is just what I do, but know where you're gonna put those jars when they come out of the canner. And they sit here, as that one book told me, these jars after processing need to remain unmolested. Unmolested, people, don't molest your jars for 24 hours. I do not cover it with a towel. That's old-timey. Generally, when we did not have air conditioned and heated homes, they simply sit here. Tomorrow, I will check them. It is now like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 12:30, who knows. Anywho, okay, so tomorrow at that same time, I will check to make sure everything's sealed. I'll lift those jars by the seal to make sure they are sealed, and then I'll wash them in warm soapy water so that when I put them in my food pantry, they are not sticky. Ain't nobody needs ants in their pantry. Nope. The next thing I do for whatever I'm canning, whether it's a vegetable, whether it's meat, in this case, we're doing raw pack, I go to trusted books. The science is done for us. I'm refreshing myself on how long I'm going to process these pints or quarts, whatever they are. In my case, I do pints of chicken breast. I'm raw packing. So it will refresh me on what the headspace is and how long to process it safely. I make a note. Again, keep it simple, silly. I'm going to be raw packing chicken. I'm going to do pints. It calls for 1 inch of headspace. I will process them 75 minutes. I write down the time that my vent starts of 10 minutes. Once that vent cover has come up, I call it the petcock, but it's not because I can never remember the name, but I just did, which is wonderful. So, and I set my timer for 10 minutes, but I write it down. I've had a timer fail, and then I'm going to write down the process start time once I'm up to my 10 pounds of pressure. I know the pressure for my area is 10 pounds, but again, this trusted resource reminded me. So when you go to the recipe, the instructions in a trusted book, it could not be simpler. I see a lot of people go make comments, how do I know whether to water or pressure can? They'll go into a live stream and ask, how long do I process beef tips or chicken? Go to your book. It tells you exactly what to do. Prepare your weighted gauge pressure canner so you know that meat and poultry needs to be pressure canned. It shows you or tells you cut your meat into 1.5 to 1 inch thick strips, just long enough to fit in the jars. Pack hot meat into hot jars if you're doing that. If you're adding salt, how much to put in. And just a reminder, salt has nothing to do with preserving the food in the jar, okay? It is simply for flavor. If you've ever made bread and you forgot to add the salt, it has no flavor. I choose not to put salt in with mine, but you have the option to or not to. It even talks about when you're preparing, if you're using game meats, how to make a saltwater brine, how long to let it sit in there. Do not allow meat to stand longer in brines or water. It gives you specific instructions. Then it tells you to put your jars in the pressure canner, right? And it tells you to vent your steam, then close it. Get to 10 pounds of pressure or the pressure for your area. How to let it cool. It gives you step-by-step instructions on how to process, how to put it in the jars, what size to make it in the jars. It makes it very clear. Follow the proven science. Don't rely on your memory or leaving a comment or asking in a live chat. Go to your trusted resource. Then you know everything in your pantry or this canning session, you followed a trusted, proven resource. You got your headspace right. You cut your things to the correct size in the jar. That sort of thing. Whether you raw pack or hot pack, step-by-step instructions. If you'll set up for your canning session, go to your resource, make your note, and follow it. It's all done for you. You do not have to feel overwhelmed. And once you do your first pressure canning session and that product sealed when you set it out here in your area, you will trust that product in your pantry. Don't rely on your memory. Go to your trusted resources. And you don't even have to buy the books. You can download many of them. Don't make any excuse for not doing it correctly. Here is something that makes it easier with your lids. In here is I put them in, I put one flat, I turn this one up, I turn the next one flat, upside down, flat, upside down, flat. So that when I go to pick those up with what they refer to as the magic wand, the magnet on the bottom, is they won't all be stuck like this. I've had this happen and I practically pull them all up. And we learned in a live chat the other day, watch this. It hovers. But notice that, I got two. So all this does, turn in one flat, the next one upside down, is keeps them from sticking together. Anything that makes it easier, and again, keep it simple, silly, so these will get warm. I'll get to hacking up my raw packed chicken, stuff in my jars. And because I'm raw packing, and I'm not doing it in a hot jars, I will not get my canner going until I get all my jars in it. In my case, it holds 8 pints. Easy peasy.